And it has been horrific to watch the self-proclaimed feminists, a la Emma Watson, the person who was made essentially by the wizarding world of Harry Potter, who says to the public that she's a feminist, how quickly she was willing to throw J.K. Rowling under the bus.
All right, let's talk about Emma Watson, a name we all know, especially if you grew up watching her bring Hermione Granger to life. Emma was practically raised in the public eye as one of Hollywood's early feminist icons, a self-proclaimed activist and advocate who captured the spotlight with her passionate speeches on gender equality and social justice. Remember her famous UN speech for He for She? She was a role model, a voice for progressive causes, and for many, a hero.
UN Secretary General, President of the General Assembly, Executive Director of UN Women, and distinguished guests. Today, we are launching a campaign called He for She. I am reaching out to you because we need your help. We want to end gender inequality.
But here's the twist. Lately, that glossy, picture-perfect image of Emma Watson is starting to look a bit, well, worn out. And some would even say hypocritical. So how did Hollywood's feminist darling end up facing backlash from the very fans who used to cheer her on?
A zillion followers, she's a big celebrity. She wanted her Instagram feed to look nice while showing support for BLM. They savaged her. They savaged her because, well, one, because it was just slacktivism.
Buckle up, because this story involves everything from social media scandals to astrology and a certain wizarding world we all know and love. First, let's rewind to where things started to unravel, her very public split from the woman who created her biggest claim to fame, J.K. Rowling. You'd think Emma might have a little gratitude for the author who basically turned her into a global superstar, but nope. As soon as Rowling voiced her controversial opinions on gender and biological, Emma jumped ship, aligning herself firmly with Hollywood's ultra-progressive narrative. She released statements saying she stands with trans identities, even calling out Rowling's views indirectly. But was this a case of taking a principled stand, or was it something else? That's what got people talking. For a lot of fans, it wasn't Emma's disagreement with Rowling that sparked outrage. It was the way she turned on Rowling so publicly, and some might say, so coldly. The internet quickly picked up on this and slammed Emma, calling her out for abandoning one of the most successful female authors of all time. Critics saw it as a betrayal. Here was Emma, supposedly a champion for women, turning her back on another woman for what seemed like Hollywood points. And just like that, fans started seeing cracks in Emma's carefully crafted feminist persona. But it didn't stop there. Emma's woke transformation went from speaking out to something far more intense. She went all in, adopting every trendy cause you can think of, even diving headfirst into one of today's most contentious issues, trans children. She made headlines for talking about a 6-year-old trans child she met, saying this encounter changed her views on gender. And again, the internet had something to say. People were stunned, arguing that it's wildly inappropriate to put such a label on a young child who realistically can't grasp the complexities of gender. Yet Emma treated it like a profound moment of enlightenment, claiming this experience fueled her activism. For fans and critics alike, this was a little much, and her critics weren't afraid to call her out for what they saw as empty, over-the-top virtue signaling.
I met and I'm in contact with a 6-year-old trans child. That also really hit it home in a different, in a really different way of realizing.
It makes it real. There's a real people at the heart of these discussions.
Yeah.
In fact, the more causes she championed, the more people began to wonder if any of this was even real. Was Emma genuinely invested in these causes, or was she just riding Hollywood's trendy activism wave? For her fans, this was heartbreaking. She was once the fierce, outspoken Hermione Granger, a character known for loyalty and authenticity. But now, it seemed like her real-life counterpart was losing her way. And then came the astrology. Oh yes, this is where it got downright weird. In a lengthy Instagram post, Emma shared her appreciation for Saturn. Yes, Saturn. She went on about something called her Saturn return, an astrological event where Saturn supposedly returns to the same position it occupied at your birth, supposedly causing major life changes. Emma's post was a love letter to Saturn for teaching her how to be a woman, and even included stories about cutting her thumbnails while cooking and her newfound connection with witches. Fans were baffled. Was this the same Emma Watson they had admired for years?
I'm here for all of the witches.
The post went viral, not because it was inspiring, but because people didn't know what to make of it. Hollywood influence or not, this was a stretch even for her most loyal followers. Social media had a field day with it, of course, questioning if Emma had finally lost touch with reality. Her once thoughtful, focused activism was now turning into something resembling a Hollywood parody. Fans couldn't help but wonder, is this what Hollywood does to you? But wait, it gets even stranger. Emma made headlines yet again when she decided to announce that she was self-partnered. Now, instead of just saying she was single, she declared herself as her own partner.
I never believed the whole I'm happy single spiel. I was like, this is spiel.
Yeah.
This is totally
Isn't
spiel.
it interesting, the stuff that we take
I
in and then have to
know.
unpack?
It took me a long time, but I'm very happy. I call it being self-partnered.
Right, right. Joe, I've got a really stupid question on here, and you don't have to answer it.
A new level of Hollywood jargon that nobody really asked for. For a lot of fans, this was the tipping point. While some people thought it was empowering, others saw it as just another way of turning something normal into a trend, making being single sound like a groundbreaking lifestyle choice. Self-partnered became a joke online, another indication that Emma might be getting a little too wrapped up in buzzwords and slogans. All this leads to the cherry on top of Emma's Hollywood saga. HBO recently announced a Harry Potter television reboot with Rowling on board as executive producer and the original cast, Emma included, left out. Emma isn't involved. No Hermione, no Harry, no Ron. For Rowling supporters, this reboot was poetic justice, a fitting end for Emma, who had distanced herself from Rowling only to be distanced in return from the very franchise that launched her. Talk about karma. Now, new actors will take over those iconic roles, and Emma's place as the real Hermione is slowly but surely fading. Now, think about that. The one thing that made Emma a household name, the franchise that put her on the map, is moving on without her.
Are you sure that's a real spell? Well, it's not very good, is it?
And the fans have noticed. Some say this is exactly what she deserves for turning her back on Rowling, while others are genuinely sad to see their Hermione out of the picture. It's a complicated mix of nostalgia, betrayal, and poetic irony. But if you strip away all the Hollywood glamour, all the hashtags, and all the trends, what's left? Emma Watson built her brand on feminism, social justice, and speaking up for what's right. But when it came to defending the woman who made her a star, she turned away. And for a lot of fans, that was the ultimate betrayal. It's not just about one disagreement with Rowling, it's about loyalty and integrity. People respected her for standing by her beliefs, but her critics argue that those beliefs crumbled when they conflicted with Hollywood's current agenda. The lesson here? Hollywood's love for wokeness only goes so far. When public opinion shifts, it's easy to get tossed aside, no matter how many causes you take up or how many trends you follow. Emma's fall from grace is a reminder that no amount of performative activism can protect you when the public starts asking questions about what you truly stand for.
People to examine their own privilege.
Social media is a really interesting space, and I'm always trying to figure out how to take care of myself, self-care. Reading comments that are intended to be nothing other than cruel and unkind is not good for my psyche on a daily basis.
Does it get to you?
However, oh my goodness, yeah. Yeah.
So what do you think? Has Emma lost her way, or is she just adapting to a changing world? Was her split from Rowling a principled stand, or just another attempt to stay relevant? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like button if you're here for more stories that pull back the curtain on Hollywood's most talked about stars. And if you want to stay updated on the latest drama from the entertainment world, go ahead and subscribe. You don't want to miss what's coming next.